Welcome back to episode 2 of Founder's Story of OHS Safe Notes. So in the first episode I told you how I got to the place where I actually decided then to build the app. And I was thinking back, to my days as a risk manager and just thinking about the nitty-gritties of OHS meetings. You have them maybe once a week. For very busy companies, maybe once a month. But it's always such a schlep, if you've got to, like myself, I was the risk manager. So I had somebody that was taking the notes, right? Taking the minutes of the meeting. And, but I always had to wait for gaps to be closed, for action items to be closed. You get to the next meeting and then there's still gaps open. And that is how incidents actually take place, because very often near misses get reported and discussed in a meeting. Action items are discussed as well, but they are never actually actioned because somebody was waiting for the minutes so that they could actually do what they were supposed to do. And sometimes you can't read people's handwriting and so forth and so forth. And so it just made sense to me that the world actually needed a meeting recorder and transcriber type of app. But listen, I'm not a coder. I can't code to save my life. I did study some blockchain coding back during the days of in 2020. I won't mention the name, but in 2020, when we were all on lockdown in the world, I started studying a bit on the blockchain and doing some courses, in Bitcoin and Ethereum coding and so forth. But I cannot code. I can't build apps. So another passion of mine, and I've actually got a business in the AI field, is AI, right? And I know that there are many tools out there that a person can use to actually build certain things. So I then decided to build OHS Safe Notes using AI. Now, to me, as a OHS professional, I know that the industry doesn't really move very fast. There are not many new innovations coming in. People tend to do the same thing for a long time, right? And OHS, the field itself, hasn't really fully adopted AI either. And there are so many things that can get done using AI in the OHS field. And it just enhances a person's capacity. So people should never think that AI is actually going to take their jobs. If you want to really become irreplaceable in your job, then I'll say to you, learn AI. Learn to use AI in your job, and your company will never ever get rid of you, because you'll 10x your output, and you'll just become a different beast, so to speak. I'm saying that with all respect. And so I then had this situation in my mind where I was now thinking, how is this going to come about? How am I going to build it? So I had to basically set out a framework. I obviously used my AI agent, and we put a framework together, a wireframe, if you want to call it that in coding terms. And but I made one mistake. I made a mistake, and this is confession time for me. I didn't validate my idea first with the market. And that is in hindsight, it was a mistake that I'm really admitting to right now. I did not validate my idea with the market. And that should be a lesson for somebody listening to me today, is that if you want to build tools, if you want to build software, etc., validate your idea with the market first. First get market input so that you can actually then build something that people are actually wanting to use. So I did some research on apps, meeting recorder apps for the OHS field, and it turns out that OHS Safe Notes that I founded after reading Acres of Diamonds is the first in the world of that. There are many voice recording and transcribing apps in the world, right? There are many, don't get me wrong. But this was the first OHS specific meeting recording and transcribing app that was ever built. And I was absolutely blown away. I couldn't believe it. So it was a proud moment for me just to think about it. And obviously, I still needed to build this thing, and I needed to test it. I needed to then get it into people's hands so that people can validate it and see whether it's actually working properly. So it's been a journey. And it's not easy to build something. Let me tell you that. It's awesome. It's great. But to build it and to get it out there, it's like I can still remember the very first day when I made this thing public, when I actually released it into the public domain. I was nervous, it's like watching your child go to school for the first time, or watching your kid ride a bicycle for the first time. You are nervous. And that's how I felt with this. Seriously, I had butterflies in my stomach. Because, confession number 2, I'm actually an introvert. Yes, I am. But the crazy thing is this here. I was on radio for 11 years, being an introverted person, right? And I spoke to hundreds of thousands of people every weekend on radio. So I say that I'm an introvert, but then also the other thing that I never fully embraced, and I'm starting to now, is social media. And that stems from the fact that I'm like an introvert, right? So I've never been one that would say, hey world, look at what I've just built, or hey world, I've got this idea, I've never been that guy. And to my detriment. So I'm now realizing, and I'm catching up to the social media concept, where we are now a different. The world is different. It's like I was trying to exist and live in a world that no longer existed. And so that is why I'm making these founder story videos, so that you can actually understand who I am. Firstly, put a face to the brand, and then also understand how did it actually come about that I actually built this thing, and is it even worth your while actually looking at this product that I've built? So that's just a bit of backstory as well. In the next video, I'm going to speak to you more about the vision. The vision that I had for this app and still have for OHS Safe Notes. And I believe that it's a product that can really grow. It can evolve from its current state and really become something that every OHS professional would want to have in their tool belt, so to speak, right? So on Friday, I will be releasing the next video, part 3 of Founder's Story of OHS Safe Notes. Thank you once again for your time. I really appreciate it.